So guys, this is our final data here. So this is our database. So if user send our database like this, wait a second. If user send data register, do that rate.com, password, agree. Let's check it here. There is 11 data only, but if I click on register, then let's refresh it. There is 12 data and our data is successfully sent to our database. So let's start how we can make this stuff. So welcome guys, in this video I'm gonna show you how we can connect our form with database. I'm showing you which form is this. So let's with forming. So this is our form. If user click on register, then we send these data into database. If you want to know how we can create like this form, you can check my previous video. So let's start how we can create database connection. So firstly we have to open XAMPP. So let's open XAMPP. Oops, I created shortcut on desktop. So let's open it from here. In XAMPP we have to start Apache server and MySQL. After both were started, then we have to click on this admin panel on MySQL. So let's click on it and wait for a few minutes. Oops, sorry, wait for a few seconds. It takes some time for loading. So we can close this XAMPP file now. After that we have to copy this data into htdocs folder. So let's copy it from here to open in localhost. If you want copy in localhost, then it's not running in XAMPP server, so we are not able to connect to our database. So after that we have to so I am showing you how we can paste it in our XAMPP server. So firstly open C drive in your PC. After that we have to see an XAMPP folder here. In XAMPP folder you have to find here htdocs. It is necessary guys. So let's click on htdocs, click on it. Now let's create another folder. I am creating name YT. You can choose anything. In YT section I am creating new folder name project1. So inside project1 I am pasting these data. So okay, after that we have to open this section into localhost. So as you can see here, our database is also loaded. So let's open our form into localhost. So how we can do that? Firstly type localhost / name of our folder. Name of our folder is YT. So let's write here YT and press enter. After that, as you can see here, our all directories are here. So we created project1 folder. So let's click on it. Inside folder our form is automatically loaded. Now our form is in a localhost. So let's open with VS Code to edit it. Let's close this, and after that we have to open here with VS Code. So right click, open with code. Now close this. Sorry, open again, wait for a few seconds. Now we have to we don't need this folder, so close it. Inside it we have to write some PHP code. So let's close it here, and in index.html I am adding new file. Name of the file is php code.php. You can choose any name here. So let's close it with warnings. So we have successfully created our PHP file. Now let's link it from our index.html. So let's close it from here. So if user click on form submit button, then we have to send this, we have to redirect this page into this login.php page. So and find form section here, inside here form section. Now we have to put here this name, this PHP file name. So that means if user click on submit button, then our page is redirected to this page. So let's copy it and also paste it on login. So wait a second. So I think I haven't created form section here, so let's create it. Form, so action, let's paste it, and I already closed form tag here. So now let's save it. Open PHP section. Now we have to connect our PHP code with database. So let's open database. Firstly, we have to create a new database to store our information given by the user. So let's create it. Now click on database, and after that we have to choose a name here. So we can choose anything, like I'm choosing data, I am choosing video. Be careful while choosing this name, because if you put here capital letters, then it creates error. So let's choose some other name. I am choosing code. Okay. Oops, we have to create again. Let's choose code, and we have to select on create. Then as you can see here, our database is created, but there is no tables. So we have to create how many tables we are creating. So we have to put here name of the table. I am choosing registration, and in registration table how many columns are there. So let's count it from form. So let's click on register. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Okay, there are 4 columns. So let's create 4, but we have to declare one ID column. So we have to put it 5. First is ID, it's necessary. So let's click on create and wait a second. After that we have to put in names. So in the first section we have to write T, and second section, let's check it from here, username. So let's username, and in third we have to put here email, and in fourth section in second section we have to write here email. Second we have to write here mobile number. So number, and in third section we have to write an email. In fourth section we have to write a password. So after that let's check type. Firstly, in ID section we have to choose an auto increment, which automatically selects it's an primary key. Primary key means it cannot be duplicate, so that's why we are choosing ID as a primary key. And secondly, in username we are choosing type here. If we choose auto increment in ID, we don't have to do anything in this field. Now secondly, username field, user can put anything here, so we have to choose here varchar. Varchar means user can put anything, name, symbol, alphabet, digits, anything. And after that we have to put here length. Length means how many digits are there in our username. Example, in length string, how many digits are there? So 1 2 3 4 5 6. There are 6 digits in length. So we are choosing 50. You can choose any number, but generally it's enough. And in mobile number, user can put anything, but wait, I'm choosing number, text integer, length of integer, number must be 10 digits, so let's put it 10 here. In email section, user can put anything, so let's check varchar. And in 50 length, password also user can select anything. That's password length 50. After that, we have to do nothing here. Now let's scroll down and let's click on save. Wait a second. Now as you can see here, if we click on here register structure, so our database structure is here. Now we have to send this data into here. So how we can do that? Let's open PHP code. Let's write it down here. So this is the syntax of PHP space. This is the syntax of PHP. Now we have to connect our form with database. So firstly, we are creating there are two methods of connecting our form with database. So I am showing you first method, then I'll show you another. So first create server name equals first let me write all names, then I'll explain you how we are writing this. So I'm finished with that, so let me explain you. In server name we are using XAMPP, so it's necessary we have to write here localhost. It's necessary. If we enter something different, so it shows error. Be careful while writing these names. In username, in XAMPP the username is root. In password section this is blank, and in database section this is database name. So let's check it what our database name is. So our database name is code. So let's write it down here, code. That means we are storing these datas into these variables. I'll show you another method where we don't have to store these data into variables. We can directly connect it from database. So now let's execute on the command to where now we haven't connected to our database. We only stored this information into these variables. So now let's connect it. Make another variable to check these data are connected to the database or not. So let's create another variable $check. You can choose any name here. Inside check we have to write here an function MySQL underscore CLN. This is a function which takes a few arguments to connect to our database. Firstly, we have to write here server name. So let's copy it from here. It's necessary to write dollar, guys, because this is a variable, so we have to write here dollar also. If you write like that, let me show you. If you write like that, then it shows error. As you can see here, there is no error. Sorry, as you can see here, this is not colored, and in this section this is colored. So this is valid syntax. This is invalid syntax. So let's put dollar here. After that, let's comma and dollar password and comma dollar db. That means we are sending these values into this function, and am saying to our PHP code to connect with our database, connect this form with our database. So this order is necessary, guys. If we made a mistake by writing these orders, so it shows errors. So if we write, let me explain you. If we write like this, then it shows error. This order is necessary. So let's back it and let's save it. After that, let's check if our form connection is successful or not. So let's write down if else condition. If $check. If $check is true, means if our data is successful, if our form is successfully connected with database, then show us message. Show us message. Connection successful. Connection okay. Semicolon. And after that, let's turn down else condition. Else, if our database connection is not successful, then show us message. Echo connection failed. Connection failed. Let's write semicolon here and let's save it. And let's check. Let's reload first. After that, click on register. Now let's click on here register. Now as you can see here, our connection is okay. That means this form is successfully connected with our database, but we haven't changed these data into our database. So let's do that. So after that we have to take this information, this section information in PHP code. This like that, this information. If user enters some information here, so we have to extract this information from HTML to PHP. So how we can do that? So let's check it here. So process is go to index.html and in every section from where you want to take these data to PHP, set name there, set name. So firstly I am in username, I am setting name. So let's set your name. Username, where is username? And username here, placeholder username. So in this section I am writing here username. This is important, guys, because if you made any mistake here in writing these names, it just creates error for us while writing the PHP code. So be careful while writing it. We have to use this name into PHP code. So wait for a second, I'll show you how we can write it. So in mobile number I am writing number, okay. And in email section I am writing a name as email. In password section I am writing as password. After that all are done. So this is perfectly fine. Let's save it. So guys, name attribute is used for how we can find, means check. These values are checked in a backend. So that's why name attribute is used for backend. So let's, after we creating that, saving this information, we have to write in form section, in form tag, action. Action means from how we can take this data from HTML to PHP. So let's write down action here. In action section, in ACTI, we have to write a method, means how we can send this data into PHP. So there are two methods, get and post. So get is not secure, but post method is secure the guest method. That's why I'm using the get post method. So let's copy it from here and also put in this login form. So let's paste it here. Now let's save it. We are not dealing with login form, we are only dealing with registration form. So if you want to know how we can, wait a second. So if you want to know how we can check this given information like email or password, this information from database and redirect to the another page if email and password are correct, and if email and password are incorrect, then show us the message to the user. So how we can do that? If you want to know, then comment me in YouTube section. So let's check this how it will. So let's check it how we can send these data into PHP code. So we set it name of every attribute elements tags. Sorry. So I'm writing comment here. In PHP we have to, for your easier, I'm writing comment here. Sending getting value from HTML. Getting value from HTML. So we have to create how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 sections. So let's create $username. I already created username, so we have to write our stuff here. So I _2 equals $_post. Wait a second, I'm explaining you how I'm reading this. So we are taking values from HTML, means I'm creating variable to store these HTML values in PHP. Using username _2, you can choose anything. And in $_post method, we are selected post method here. As you can see here, we are selected post method here. That's why we have to use here $_post. If we used get method, so then we have to write here a $_get. So now in this blank section, this is the syntax. In blank section we have to write here name, what we inserted in HTML. So in username section, in name we write it here username. So let's copy it from here. This is very necessary. If we made any mistake here, then it shows error. So let's paste it here, and in number section let's copy from here, name equals to number, copy, and let's paste it here. In email section, I am very carefully violating this because it shows very huge error. So as you can see here, I am successfully extracted the HTML values in PHP. Now let's send these values into database. So how we can do that? So let's run and query. Means I am creating variable to store these value into one variable. So I am choosing $data. You can choose anything. Equals insert. In PHP, when we are writing MySQL code, then we have to write it inside double quote. So let's write here insert into insert into. This is an SQL code. Insert into means we are inserting values into from where? Insert into this table name registration. Let's copy it from here. Copy. The values. This means we are inserting these values these 4 values into our database. So here I am writing, sorry, we have to write capital. It's not necessary to write, it is not necessary to write MySQL query into capital, but I am preferring it because when I saw this code and see capital letters, then I remember it's an SQL command. You can use a small case, lowercase, anything. So in value section, now let's check our form structure. So let's create a structure. Here are firstly ID section. So ID section is auto increment, means it is all, if user click on submit and submit, then it's automatically increased by 1. So in ID section we don't have to send any data here from here. So let's write here blank. So we have to write it inside single quotes because we already used double quote here. That's why we have to write it in single quotes. After that comma. Now we are setting these values. Remember these orders. So we are sending this username value into this username section, username field. So dollar username, let's put to, we have to write it in double quote. So let's turn here comma. So let's write down every section here. So secondly, I am choosing a number. So in single quote dollar number and comma in single quote. Then down here email comma single quote pass dollar pass. So now let's save it. Now these values are stored in our this data variable, but now it haven't sent it to our database. So how we can do that? To do that, we have to run an function which takes 2 arguments. So let's create another variable $execute equals, it takes 2 arguments. I'm writing new function here. So MySQL underscore query. This queries take 2 arguments, means we have to write here where and which data we want to execute. So firstly I am writing this, copy paste comma and this data dollar data. This means we are executing this where we are to send these data. So firstly we are to send these data into this database which we stored in check variable, and after that which data we are to send. So the data where in data variable stored, that data we are to send in this database. So after that our database successfully sent it. So let's check it if data is sent it or not. So let's write down here if else condition. So if $execute is true, means if our data is successfully sent it to our database, then show us message data is sent, semicolon. After that let's write down here else show us message. If data is not sent, then show us message data is not sent. Let's semicolon here. Now let's save it. So it seems around my code. So I forgot to put here semicolon. It's necessary. So let's put here semicolon. Now let's save it. Let's check it in our form, it's working or not. Now let's check it. So we go to form. Now let's put some information here. I am writing code help, mobile number 98 email section @gmail.com, password section, I'm adding something GPT and agree. Let's click on register. So as you can see here, our connection is okay and our data is also sent, but it shows us warning. It doesn't matter. So how we can remove this warning? So let's come to this PHP code, and at the top we have to write here error underscore reporting 0. It means we are removing all warnings from our output. So let's save it from here. Now let's reload it. Our connection is okay and data is sent. So let's check it in from database. So let's refresh it. There is an error. So let's go back. Let's register from reload. It seems an error. Wait a second. So I figured it out. There are few errors in my HTML code. So in action method there are not PSOT, there is POST, and after that this font tag should be here, this closing here, and this is not necessary. So let's close it from here. Now let's save it and check it from our page. So let's reload it and let's put register, username, write down here L, number, email, password I'm using GPT, agree, and let's click on register. Now as you can see here, let's refresh it. Now let's load it 9. So on the data our ID is 10, username codewell, number 98, that were provided in the form. In email section there are unknown gaps, and in password section I'm written GPT. So these are few rough details. While I am resolving my errors, then I'll try to insert it. So now we don't want to see this connection okay and data is not sent. Let's comment it out from PHP code. So let's comment out. So that means if data is not sent, then show us message. If data is not sent and connection is not okay, connection is okay. Sorry, if database connection is okay and data is sent, then don't show us message. But if connection is failed and data is not sent, then show us a message. So let's save it from here. Let's go back. Let's reload and click on register. Let's write down username. I'm using GPT. So email section @gmail.com, password section blah blah, register. So as you can see here, we have nothing here. So let's check it from database, refresh it at the 11 number. As you can see here, our data is inserted. Now let me give you an overview of code, how it's working. So firstly, we are right here error reporting 0. That means we don't want to see any warning in our code. If there is any warning, then clear it from our screen. After that, we stored our information into variable, and this variable used to connect with our database. There is another method to connect our database, but this is more clarifying. That's why I'm showing you this method. Another method is not so clarifying. So if you want to know how we can connect by another method, then you can comment me. I'll show you in another video. So firstly, let me explain you. So we stored username, server name means server name, inside server name variable we stored localhost string. That means our server name is localhost. After that, in username variable we stored a root string. In password section we stored blank. In database section we write here name of our database. Name of the database, our name is code. So in username in XAMPP the username is localhost, and in server name in XAMPP the server name is localhost, and in username the username is root, password blank, database name what we are providing in database, that we have to write it here. So this is necessary part. After that, this part doesn't executed here, so now we have to execute this part to connect with our database. So then that's why I created another variable $check. That means first let me explain you what's that. So there I created a function MySQL _connect. This function what does that, this function takes few arguments. Using that argument it connect our form with database. It takes user server name, username, password and database name. This is necessary in order or such. After that we created it into check variable. That means we want to check if this data is sent, if database is connected or not. So we write it by if condition. So if database connection is successful, then show us message connection is okay, and otherwise if database connection is failed, then show us message connection failed. So but we commented here connection okay. That means we are commented out if our data is sent, then don't show us message connection over there. But if database connection is failed, then show us message connection is failed. After that, what this variable do that, I am using comment here. I suppose you already know how we can comment in PHP. After that, this line I am taking values from HTML to PHP. So firstly I'm creating variables which stores our HTML values. So this is firstly variables. After that we using $_post. This is what we written in method section. As you can see here, there is in second method post. If uses get method here, so we have to write here $_get. This is a syntax. So $_post. After that, inside with bracket and single quote, we have to write here name of that tag, which tag values we want to extract from HTML to PHP. So we return this username tag, username element tag, name is username. So that's why I'm written here username. After that, in number I am writing here name number, so that's why I'm writing number here. Just like similarly I am writing email and password. After that, we are successfully extracted our database from HTML to PHP. So now we are sending this data into database. So how we can do that? First we are executing MySQL query. So this is MySQL query. So in PHP, whenever we are executing MySQL query, then you have to write it into double quote. So that's why inside double quote and semicolon we write it here insert into registration. That means our table name. So what we have written here, our table name is registration. That's why I'm writing registration here. Insert into means we are inserting these values into. We're inserting these values into registration table. Where values means we are sending these values, insert into, we are selecting our, this means we are selecting our database table. After that we are written here database table name, and after that in value section this is a function which takes argument what we are trying to send to database. So in value section we are sending firstly blank. That means there are firstly an ID section which is auto increment. That means it's automatically increased by 1. We don't have to plus it, minus it, and send a few values from outside. It's automatically increased by 1 in every registered. If every click to register button. Understand that? After that, we are adding this, means we are adding this username to values into this username column. After that, number, email, password. Similarly, this order is important with our database, so that's why. After that, we have stored this value into data variable because this line is haven't executed yet. So that's why how we can execute that these values is to simplify that, to making more obvious and to understandable. That's why I'm storing it in another variable. I can just similarly do like that, this and this, paste. I can similarly do that, but this is more complicated. That's why I'm choosing this method. So I'm storing this values into data. After that, I'm creating another variable. Let me explain you first this function. This is a function MySQL query. This query wants to do that. It executes these lines. That means it takes 2 arguments. First argument, where we want to execute these data. Where means we already stored here. We are storing this into our this database code. So where? So firstly, where this database, we are executing these values into this database. After that, put comma and which data we want to send. So this data, $data. So edited here. Now our data is successfully sent. We don't have to do anything here, but if you want to know our data is sent or not, so I'm reading here and if condition, if all execute is true. That means if our data is successfully sent, then show us message data is sent, and if data is not sent, then show us message data is not sent. But in true section, I commented out here because if data is successfully sent, then I don't want to say any message. But if data sent is failed, then I want to send message. That's why I am doing for that. That's it for today. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more like this content.